So it's time to start getting back into the pulse rifle build. The final thing that I've got to do in terms of casting is get the pump action piece sorted out. I did make up a piece that worked quite successfully, but I found that the gap that I allowed for the enlargement of this piece to make sure that it was a proper fit, I really haven't allowed as much as I needed to in terms of getting a nice fit on there. I could probably grind this out to the point where it would fit pretty reasonably, but I'm worried that it's going to make it a little bit too thin. So I'm just going to redo this piece so that I can get the fit that I really want to go for. Ultimately what it comes down to is I'm going to add in a little bit more material in there. You can see that gap that I'm going to close in. I'm just going to use some of this epoxy putty stuff to start working out that proper sizing. Mostly because I want it to be a neat fit on this piece, and because the metal's going to be sliding on each other, and I don't want it to be jamming up when it slides across the metal. I've added some tape to the metal cage there so that this putty doesn't stick to it whilst I'm sorting it out. And then of course once I do have this built up the way I need it to, I'm going to have to separate it back into two pieces so that I can use it as the pattern pieces I need to create the mould for the sand. I've also started the cleanup and the milling out of the trigger section. The only other individual pieces I've got to start working on are the small component pieces that make up the finishing details, and most of those will be made from individual pieces rather than being cast anyway. I've still got to work out the trigger assembly itself, as well as the release mechanism for the magazine. So I'll leave that to set now, and then I'll refine the inside a little bit more, and I'm going to build up a couple of pieces to sort of lump it out a little bit on either side so that I can work out a better flow arrangement for it. The piece that I did there where it sort of flowed in from the centre and worked its way out, it worked fine, it produced quite a reasonable piece, but I like the idea of being able to get a cleaner piece if I can sort of make some pieces on the side and flow it in from one side and have it flow to the other side and then just cut those pieces off. So once that sets, I should be able to refine that a bit more, and then I can start working on the overall cleanup and assembly of the entire thing. So there we go, so that'll be the update for this time. Thanks for watching, talk to you next time. For anybody that's been wondering and asking, there's the final setup as far as the Martian fighting machine is concerned in this display cabinet in the corner of the man cave. And that cabinet is pretty much the one that I've always had in mind in terms of putting him on display. To give you a better overall idea of the height though, you can see that the tape measure there roughly lines up with the height of his legs. And that comes into near enough 90 centimetres tall, give or take a couple of centimetres. And it means if you shorten that tape measure down to the top of the ship itself, it's about 80 centimetres tall. So it ends up being a pretty reasonable sort of size as far as a model goes. So hopefully that gives you a better idea on how big it actually is.